Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a deep dive into one of the most baffling and heartbreaking stories in modern football history. Italy, a nation that gave the world the art of defending, the beauty of calculated football, and 4 World Cup trophies, has once again failed to qualify for the sport's greatest stage. Today we are going to spend the next several minutes exploring every dimension of this crisis: the history, the tactics, the players, the management decisions, and the road ahead for the Azzurri. This is not just a story about a few bad results. It is a story about a footballing culture at a crossroads. To understand where Italy is today, we must first look back at where they came from. Italy's football history is the stuff of legend. From the back-to-back World Cup victories in 1934 and 1938 to the glory of 1982 in Spain when Paolo Rossi lit up the tournament, and then the dramatic penalty shootout victory in 2006 in Germany, Italy has long been considered one of the pillars of world football. Several factors have contributed to the shocking decline we now witness. Let us examine the qualifying campaign in detail, because the numbers tell a damning story. Italy's results across their recent qualifying group were inconsistent at best and alarming at worst. In games they were expected to win comfortably, they struggled. They drew against teams ranked far below them in the FIFA World Rankings. They conceded goals from set pieces at an embarrassing rate. And when it mattered most, in the decisive matches, with a World Cup place on the line, they froze. One of the key tactical problems has been Italy's inability to control games through possession and movement. As teams adapted and began pressing Italy higher up the pitch, the midfield struggled to find solutions. Firstly, tactical missteps and inconsistency in team selection have cost the Azzurri dear points during crucial qualifiers. Their defensive strategies, which once made them a formidable force, have shown vulnerability against emerging teams. The warning signs were already there before 2018, when Italy failed to qualify for the World Cup in Russia for the first time in 60 years. That was a seismic shock to the entire Italian football system. Reforms were promised, new coaches were brought in, youth development programs were overhauled, or so they said. Yet here we are again. Moreover, a lack of goal-scoring prowess has plagued the team, highlighting a deep structural need for fresh talent in their lineup. Let us also examine the role of Serie A in Italy's struggles, because the domestic league and the national team are deeply interconnected. Serie A, once the world's premier football league in the 1990s, has declined significantly in global standing. Financial constraints faced by Italian clubs have had a direct impact on their ability to develop and retain young Italian talent. When budgets are tight, clubs prefer experienced foreign imports over young Italians who need game time to grow. This creates a vicious cycle. Young Italian players cannot get game time, so they do not develop, and so they are not good enough for the national team. The fundamental economic incentives of Serie A do not naturally encourage clubs to prioritize Italian player development, and until those incentives change, the talent pipeline will remain inadequate. The absence of seasoned strikers in their prime has left a noticeable void that younger players have yet to fill convincingly. Lastly, the mental pressure of rebounding from previous failures cannot be underestimated. Italy's attacking problems have been well documented and deeply troubling for years. The nation that once produced Roberto Baggio, Alessandro Del Piero, Filippo Inzaghi, and Francesco Totti has struggled to find a reliable world-class striker for the better part of a decade. Ciro Immobile has been a consistent performer at club level, but has never consistently replicated that form internationally. Younger forwards like Gianluca Scamacca and Moise Kean carry potential, but potential alone does not win World Cup qualifiers. This goal-scoring deficiency is not simply a matter of individual quality. It is a systemic issue rooted in how Serie A clubs have increasingly relied on foreign strikers. Italian forwards are too often sitting on the bench, limiting their development heading into international windows. The weight of expectations, both internal and external, has further overshadowed the squad's performance. Beyond the football itself, there is a cultural and psychological dimension to Italy's struggles that is difficult to quantify but impossible to ignore. Italian football culture is intensely passionate and at times suffocatingly critical. The media scrutiny that national team players face is extraordinary. Every misplaced pass, every missed chance, every tactical substitution is dissected and debated across television, radio, and social media for days. For young players still finding their feet at international level, this pressure can be devastating. In conclusion, this failure must serve as a genuine wake-up call, not just in words, but in action. A robust reshaping of strategies, investment in youth development, and an infusion of new energy and modern tactical thinking are essential if Italy is to regain their rightful place in world football. Another fascinating case study is France. The French Football Federation made a deliberate decision in the 1990s to invest heavily in a national football academy and develop a coherent philosophy from youth level upwards. The results speak for themselves: World Cup victories in 1998 and 2018, and a generation of world-class talent. France's success is not an accident. It is the result of decades of sustained investment and planning. Belgium's golden generation of the 2010s is another example. The Belgian Football Association implemented a long-term development plan that produced players like Eden Hazard, Kevin De Bruyne, and Romelu Lukaku. Croatia, a country of just 4 million people, has consistently punched above its weight at World Cups. Their success stems from a strong youth development culture and a clear national playing identity. Italy, with a population 10 times larger and a far greater footballing heritage, should be able to do at least as well. The fact that they are not speaks volumes about the structural failures within Italian football. The contrast with other nations is instructive. Germany, after their catastrophic group stage exit at the 2018 World Cup, undertook a root and branch review of their entire footballing structure. They made hard decisions, changed their coaching philosophy, and began rebuilding systematically. Spain, after their own troubled period following the 2014 World Cup, underwent a similar rebuilding process, eventually producing a golden generation that won Euro 2024 with a squad full of exciting young talent. These nations treated their failures as genuine catalysts for deep structural change. Italy, by contrast, has too often treated each failure as an anomaly rather than a symptom of deeper problems. So what is the path forward? The first priority must be a genuine long-term commitment to youth development. This means increased investment in academies, better coaching education programs, and a willingness to give young Italian players meaningful game time at club level. The second priority is tactical modernization. Italian coaches at all levels need to be trained in the principles of modern pressing football, positional play, and attacking dynamism. The beautiful defensive traditions of Italian football should not be abandoned. They remain a genuine competitive advantage, but they must be integrated into a more flexible and versatile tactical framework. The third priority is cultural. Italian football needs to develop a more constructive relationship with failure. Young players need to be supported, not crushed, when they make mistakes on the international stage. Italy has all the raw ingredients to become a dominant force in world football once again. The passion is there, the tactical intelligence is there, the tradition is there. What is needed now is patience, investment, and a genuine commitment to systemic change rather than superficial fixes. The Azzurri's legacy is too great and their potential too significant for this story to end here. Thank you for tuning in to this in-depth analysis. If you found this valuable, please like and subscribe, and we will see you in the next one.